Okay. Hi. So, in today's video, I will be telling you more about service providers. Um, I'll be telling you more about the bank services, the phone services, mainly about these, but also, pay slips for the rent, bills for the rent, and so on. So, yeah. Stay tuned, and that's the next part of my book, Piglet, entitled At the Bank. Okay, so so I will start um, with okay, when I changed. So I took a loan when I had no conditions to do so because I wanted to move out from the flat as quickly as possible. And I took a loan when being not employed for 6,000. And when I changed the type of the loan from the credit card into, supposedly a better option um, with the lower percentage rate, then after some time, I got back to the bank and I was told that, the money from the credit card that credit card loan wasn't closed because I used 80 zlotys, and to close it, I need to pay. And that is the thing, I didn't do. I didn't use this money, and I didn't, link it with having well, maybe at that time a little bit, it was still, I was discovering already occultism, but I would link it more with occultist rather than probably with a hacked phone. So 80 zlotys that I knew for sure um, that it wasn't on my part. Um, that was basically stolen from me. And, with the second loan, I didn't decide to have a second loan finally, but I was thinking about it and I put my data online, at the bank. And it told me that I wasn't qualified because of the type of the agreement. I should have the same agreement with the same working place, but for the second year. For the first year, it wasn't enough. So when I went to the bank, probably with a different issue, I was told that, oh, you should come to me. This data, it goes away from the bank, and next time, just for the second loan, just come to me. And the lady just basically told me that I could wait and some time and then approach her again and just wait for the data to disappear. So she didn't specify how would we modify my data or what would we put in the banking system, what kind of information would we put, but that sounds like overstepping and like trying to change some facts. And when I went to the bank to talk to that lady, not knowing yet what would be changed, I asked for the second loan, and then I was told by a different lady that, oh, no, you can't. And she gave me the paper to sign, which made me feel like, I was the one who, had an idea that they wanted to cover something. Yeah. And, the first loan that I had that was, called credit card loan, I took it in 2022. And maybe after, I took it for 6,000, and maybe after the period of, half of a year, I decided to change for this better option. But that better option actually turned out to be a very suspicious offer. So at the beginning with the credit card offer, I paid 250. That was for the period of half of the year. And then for 1 year, I paid the rate with this new offer. I was paying the rate of 200 a year. And then after 1 year, they changed my rate for 150. And in a few days or in a month, they changed it into 144. And there was something strongly off with the numbers, and the numbers just didn't add up when I switched into a new, better offer. So I believe I was cheated at the bank. And during this time period when I was living on my own, and I had a few expenses, with my mother, who went to the court to file a motion against me. Then I had to fight it, and I had to pay for objective opinions from psychiatrists. So during that time, for the period of 3 months, I paid a lower rate for the rent, and just I would get the bills with the lower rent, and then it turned out that it was a mistake on the part of the accountant, and I had to pay it from the 3 months before, and it turned out that the real cost of the flats were just too high for me. And during that time, I also got I got the documents stating that from the flats, from a very, very remote, not a distant issue, with the internet that I used to have in the flat, that I resigned from that flat and I went to live in Holland. And in Holland, I did so on the phone, and I sent them the scan, and they basically told me on the phone that this is pretty much what I had to do. But but then when I got back to living in Poland, I had a debt collector agency because of that internet, and I was looking for a job, and I wanted to find a job, so I needed the internet. And I had yet another debt collector agency because of the automatic pay at the bank didn't go through, and then it started to grow very, very quickly. So I really, during that year, paid, I believe, not my bills, not always on my, it wasn't always my fault. And then, when we go back to living in Holland, and I was trying to handle the issue with the help of my mother with the key and with the flat in Przyczynce Stosińska. So, I paid for air conditioner over there. I paid for the plumber over there. Barely I have moved in, and I had to change something, with the sink. It wasn't too expensive, but the air conditioner was very expensive, and the air conditioner was also very much dirty. So, Mr. Sławomir Czech just didn't give me the money for the deposit back. And he told my mother that I left dirty induction cooktop. So I told my mother to check it out, because when I came for the leave from Holland, I cleaned the flat. Well, there was one place where I could maybe clean one more time, but basically it was fine. And and my sister said that, oh, nobody knows what kind of man is that. And I told mother to handle the case, and he could be a gangster. And he actually had a wife who is the owner of the hospital, so I don't suspect him of being a gangster. But as if that was presented to me that way, then my mother just gave him the key a month earlier, and still I had no deposit. So I thought, well, but if somebody didn't feel secure or they wanted to have it off the list, then that's okay too. Yeah, the funny thing was with T-Mobile, because I went to get a new phone and that you could pay monthly for that phone together with the monthly subscription. And when the offer for 70 zloty was being presented to me, the very same offer was being presented to the man sitting behind me, but he was taking the phone and the subscription for 35 zloty. And I was in my head thinking, oh, it's probably an offer to somebody else. It's probably, a different type of an offer, which is obvious. It is a different type of an offer. But the question is, I'm not an aficionado of, the best version of the phone, the latest phone, and so on. I don't care about such things. And I was really sometimes hungry during that period, and I was saving money a lot. So I totally don't get it. Why did I not respond and react to the fact that, the man had a different offer, so I could have asked for a different offer too. And when we discussed the internet, I asked the lady because I needed to have some good internet for classes. But even if I had 4 or 6 hours, then you listen to the song and you teach them the song, or you listen to the story. So you don't listen for the entire six hours songs from the application. No, you can listen for 2 hours altogether, because there are a lot of other things you do during the lesson. So sure thing, I didn't think of that when talking to her, but I think she lied to me because she caught her ear. I think she lied to me when she told me that, oh, this and this amount of megabytes is a little bit slow or slow. Yeah. And, I also think she lied because next time I came to ask some questions, she just asked me what type of offer I had, and I couldn't recall the name of the offer. And she was kept on looking on my left side, which is where I had my Akashic records, where you have your Akashic records. And then, somebody else approached and they just looked into a computer and they told me, oh, you had such type of a mix with, with stretching their noses. So yeah, I had a type of a mix, and I think I have overpaid because it was the period of 2 years. And the phone sucked. The phone wasn't, the latest invention. When I needed the internet when walking, I just didn't have it. Well, luckily I had some at work. And where do I want to go here? Here. And to call different countries, I was told I needed to, pay some a different amount to my phone, different than 70 zloty amount that I paid to call a foreign country. Okay. So when it comes to Vectra service provider, the internet provider, I resigned from the internet on time, and then I kept on receiving invoices from them with the bills when I knew I have resigned. So I went to check what was going on, and I went to write the document saying that this is my case and so on. So they told me that, I changed the phone number, and they told me to sign the document saying that I changed the phone number for the internet and TV services. I never bought a TV, and I never liked a TV later with time. I used to like, watching films on YouTube, maybe Netflix sometimes when it wasn't available. And never in my life I had anything to do with TV, so I couldn't have taken the option for the internet and the TV. And as I signed it, I believe I signed it with the effect of covered hypnosis, because the lady was sitting like this and keeping an eye contact with me and making this slower movement of her head. And because I was in my head thinking, like, probably I shouldn't sign it. So I signed it, and later I was scared, of course, and I didn't get the confirmation that I filed the document regarding the invoices that came to me. And so I meditated on that, and the solution supposedly was my sister and the phone. So I went there with my sister, and we filed the same motion once again, together. And this time I basically received the confirmation from the lady that she received it, and the case was resolved in a positive way for me. But sure thing, when you see something like that, then you're scared. And that was basically the entire point of the entire confusion around the money in the bank, around any papers regarding services providers and so on. I believe it was done on purpose to scare me, and therefore I tell you how those service providers may work. Um, yeah, because even with the internet amount that I had to pay a month, well, in my hometown we always had the amount for 50 zloty, 52. And even when I was renting a room from Isa and Magda, then I was wondering if they would like to have shared this internet with me, because they basically told me they would like. But when I told them the price, they were surprised that it was so expensive. And then, oh, hydro. And there is one more thing with regard to Tauron, and one of my students who suffered with hydrolosis. That's the condition where you have a different shape of your head because you have too much fluid in your head. And her mom worked in Tauron, either with electricity, either with water. And in my book, I sometimes show you the examples of people who actually, pretty much had the same thing that they created. The bad things that they did to others got back at them in their families and those members of their families that they cared about. So with this example, I was pretty much sure that that lady was cheating on the people at work. And as her daughter was having this condition with too much fluid in her water, then I suspected that she worked with water in Tauron, and she either suggested more inconvenient conditions to some clients, either she would be sending them invoices that were actually not true, not real. And each and every time you see, institution reaching out, you always think, oh, I haven't done something, I have forgotten, or I have, I haven't taken care well of that, right? We always blame ourselves for that. Yeah. When in fact, well, my experience, especially the experience of the last 3 years, it showed me clearly that not only in the institution, I think I experienced some suggestive input where I signed something I didn't want to sign, and that document just made me feel scared. But also, giving them offers that were not convenient for them. It just looks like The system is built to take the money from the people who are hypnotized. Yeah. Okay. So, if you want to know, more about Piglet, if you want to know more about the way the system is built, then drop me a line at elkinga788@gmail.com. Piglet is for free till 28th of July. So you can still have it for free. You can still reach out, and I'm still gathering reviews, even if you just should say if you like it or you didn't like it. So that would be cool too. Yeah. And if you want to check out my course Amelia, you will find a link to it in description of the film on my website, on my Instagram and Facebook accounts. So if you like this video, click the like button, like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.